could have given up, but you didn't. You could have stopped believing, but you didn't. You could have kept living their expectations, but you decided to make this life your own. And in turn, you're here. For those who made time today and come live, I'm so glad that, we have that opportunity to be here. And because all of those questions that you prepared, it's not just for you, but those who are listening, either live or will listen to replay, a lot of people going through the same things as you are. Because in our head, we always think we're the only ones struggling. But you would be surprised that your question could bring in clarity, not just for you, but other people as well. So that's why, it's very important to kind of like reflect and speak up on what is it that bothering you and get that clarity and share with others, because we are the ones who can help others as well in one way or another, and that is very important. Thank you so much for being courageous enough to come and ask that question. And Andre is the expert in relationship dynamics, different situations, issues. So there's nothing that is off table, whatever comes to your mind. And perhaps we're gonna start discussing and something else comes to your mind and you want to ask. So welcome to do that. And we'll keep that for about an hour or so. And we'll give everybody the opportunity to ask. And as I mentioned, we're going to have a replay as well. So if in case you missed something, you'll have the opportunity to listen to it again. And I'll release it probably in a week from today. So that would be another chance for you to go over the answers or maybe listen to other people's questions. So that's it. And I think everybody's here.
Andre, thank you so much for giving us your time today. You and I spoke a few months
Yep, I
ago.
remember you,
I've
John.
watched
Yep.
many of your videos and listened to your podcast. I have great respect for your knowledge and for your ability to help people with practical guidance.
Thank you, John. That's very kind. It's very kind. That's my life. That's all I care about. That's all I want to do. That's what gets me up in the morning. Like this morning, I was giddy just knowing I was going to come on here and, because it's a bit different. It's, like these live events, these live Q&As are so like catered, right? Like people are stuck on something and why this and how come that and why does she and why does he, and it's the confusion that messes us up, and most of us don't understand, you know, the dance, the dynamic. Like we just, we're trying, but damn, right? So, having the courage to show up as well to stuff like this, I think is fantastic. So, I say this, I do live events in Los Angeles. I travel. I just came back from Miami doing another weekend event. And it's the people who show up that get the answers. And I say this all the time, is people don't, people like, a lot of people like to talk, but it's the people who show up get the answers, get the juice, get the pulse. They kind of like get invested in it. There's a mindset to that, because it's not only here that you're showing up, but you typically that temperament of people who show up tend to just show up, and these are the winners. So way to go, all of you guys, for showing up. It's not always comfortable or easy, but again, showing up, let's have the battle. So thank you guys. Good stuff.
Hello, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. All right, so let's just start our session today. And I would just ask you to mute your microphone unless you're the person that is speaking. And we can start, whoever wants to go first, you can just raise your hand and, you can ask your question, and then we will continue one after another. And if anything, or maybe you want to add something in the chat, or you prefer to ask your question in the chat, you can also do so. And without further ado, let's just start.
Can I set them up a little bit before we start?
Yeah, of
It's
course.
because it's rather important. So the conversation we're going to have about masculine and feminine, men, women, you know, the dance relationships and all that stuff. Um, you have to allow, when I say men and women, you know, it's not all men and all women. Like people get always say, well, I'm not like this and my friend's not like this. And I know somebody who, we're not talking about, I call it the um the hybrids, right? There's 80% of everybody who's pretty much the same, and there's 20% of people that are hybrids in every facet of life. There's the norm and there's the outside the norm, right? So we're talking about generalization. So allow me the huge generalization we have to agree to in order to have this conversation in the first place. So again, when I say masculine and feminine, you may say, huh, it's funny, that's more like me and I'm a man and I'm just more feminine and vice versa because we actually have both energies within us. And sometimes it's which one is in charge, which one shows up, which one is a habitual way of you to show up. So some men will be recognizing the feminine as something that they are, they do, they connect with, and some women are more noticing their masculine. It's fine, please. So allow me the generalization. I also want you to, when you listen to somebody speak and some of this stuff, the stuff that I teach, some of it is countercultural, right? The equality paradigm in my world does not work. It does not work. It works for business and works for money, but in the world of the relationship, the equality paradigm, the way we see it, the way we think of it, does not work. It's actually a disaster. This is also why people are confused. So I want you to listen. If I say something off, like something, you go, what? Why you say that? Like, how could you possibly, right? Please allow me to finish. So I want you to listen. When you listen to somebody bringing you new ideas and new thoughts, new concepts, I want you to listen to learn as opposed to listen to agree, disagree, which is what we naturally do. We listen to something and go, huh, I don't think so. That's not me. I wonder if that's, wait, let me, right? And when you do this, you actually forget you're not listening anymore. You're missing what I'm saying, and I may be answering your questions, you know, as you're not paying attention. So listen to learn as opposed to agree, disagree. Does it make sense? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. So that's two. And then, you know, I'm very passionate about this. I get excited. And what happens often, I'll get so excited, I start cursing. Allow me, please. We're adults. Let me curse. I'm not a lumberjack or a redneck, but it comes out. It's sometimes the perfect fucking punctuation. Let me just, it's still there. All right, that's it. So, Anna, if you want to pull the trigger and whoever's got the first question, you can raise your hand on the screen because
Yes.
there's in 50 of
So,
us. Yeah.
oh wow, yeah. So everything is now clear, and let's see who wants to go first. Just raise your hand, and I'll tell the name, and we can start. Let's see. I think
It's you.
Hugh would be the first one. So
Yeah. Well,
please,
Andre, what was that?
yours.
What's that? No, like you, perfect. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because I like your name. You start. You get it?
Yeah, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Boom, boom. Okay.
So, Anna, thank you very much for this. Andre, obviously, you and I have talked, and I appreciate your time, and so it's great. And I put a question out there and in the email, but I figured I'd just put it out there again because I'm trying to understand. It's such a tough dynamic. So my wife is a leader by nature, a
Yep.
strong alpha, I would say, as a woman.
Yep.
So we've had our challenges, a lot of challenges, most recently. But interestingly enough, and I'm trying to understand the dynamic here, is that we recently attended an event, a wedding, one of my good friends, and we were there all day, went to the church. Throughout the entire ceremony, you know, my wife held my hand. She went out, she reached my hand, she held it, not softly, but firmly. The entire event, shoulder to shoulder, didn't move. We went to the reception, we danced the whole night, had a great time. We were sitting with friends. It was really a great evening. A lot of connection. And that was what it always was. Next day comes, or in a couple of days, and it kind of reverts back to our current environment, where
Sure.
it's, you know, less talking, a little more combative, not argumentative, just not connected. And going back to what it was before that. So it's having my conversations with Andre in the past, doing some reading about nice guy syndromes and all the other things. You know, done that. So I'm trying to understand it, and I'm working on my leadership skills, and I'm
Yeah.
working on pushing that envelope as well.
Yeah. What's the question, Chief? What's the
The question is, what do I make of that type of event? Because it's so out of the ordinary and so different, and it was very comforting, but at the same token, I didn't read too much into it. So what do I take away from that? Is there anything
From the wedding? Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting. So the dynamic that we do daily, right, is one way. This habitual way of showing up. She's used to you. She knows you, right? She knows like your dynamic is in place where it sounds to me like she's likes to be in charge. Like you said, she's more alpha, which is interesting because for women, it's stressful to be alpha. It's
She is
highly,
very
high,
stressed. She is
absolutely.
high-end stressed.
So welcome to my life and my world. Like every one of my ladies are highly productive, stressed out, anxious, overwhelmed ladies because that kind of pace of life is really, really stressful. They experience 6 times the stress during the regular work week that we do, right? We are wired for stress. We have testosterone to deal with pushing, fighting, competing. That's called testosterone. We actually could stress for us men elevates our awareness and makes us sharper. Do you know what I mean? There's a kind of, okay, let's go, let's get it done kind of thing. All right, let's go, right? It's energizing for us to be challenged. For the ladies, it stresses them out. So they experience 6 times the stress during a regular work week. This is not making women very radiant and lovely, right? They're stressed out, they're anxious, they're tight in their bodies, and it pushes us away energetically. So there's a lifestyle habit. I always say to ladies, you know, like the cost of this is long-term dangerous. So learn to let go of control, learn to be vulnerable, learn to receive, learn to ask for help, which is very difficult when you're alpha woman. However, I know, and back to you answer your question, because you're still a woman, right? You're still full of estrogen, right? And so in the feminine, a wedding is always a fairy tale to the feminine. It is always a fairy tale. It is always a date. It is always the gown. It is always the family. It's always the wine. It's a ceremony. It's somebody stepping into life of their dreams. You know, hopefully better than mine. Often is it's a thinking, right? And so there's that kind of fairyland letting go, and being surrounded with family and friends, and this joyful experience that brings a woman into her feminine. You see it? It just kind of moves into that space, and all of a sudden she's lovey-dovey and holding your hand, right? Because you're her man. In this moment, she's in that space of being and like oozing with warmth, and you know what I mean? The connection that this whole thing generates with family and friends and the event itself. My wife, we go to weddings. I love weddings. I do weddings. I officiate weddings, as you know. And every single time, right? Then my wife is crying. Like she just like there's something very moving about that and heart centered. So yes, she's and so most of us men don't understand how big that is. Like if you take your wife to a wedding, it's a date plus 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 on steroids. Like it's just the ultimate in girliness in some level. So I had one client. I'm saying this because I had a client who going to a wedding with his wife and decided to pick up his mother on the way, as opposed to just going to the wedding with his wife. And the mother and the daughter or the wife don't get along. So by picking up the mom, he ruined the evening because mom's in the backseat talking shit. And she's like, "Why is she here?" Like, and he's like, "Well, we're going to a wedding." Like you saw it as an event. I'm like, "No, it was a date. It was a hell of it. It was an incredible date. Leave your mother at home or just Uber in or whatever, right? Like, don't sit at the table. They don't get along, right?" So that's what I'm saying. So for the ladies, it's always it's a fairy tale moment, but you get out of this a couple of days later, there's a lot of oxytocin in that. There's a lot of connection. There's a lot of feel good hormones that are released. And 2 days later, out the window and often back to regular life. And, the alphaness kicks in, stress goes up, and loveliness is out the window. So she's not crazy. She's just a girl. Right. And weddings and women, it's a nice cocktail of connection and goodies and warmth, typically. Make sense? You?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I just it's trying to understand is that so that really that's her underneath all the stress and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
anxiety. It's she's still there. It's just a matter of how to tap into that
yeah.
and start leading again.
Yep, she's still a girl. She's still. No, I've had some very masculine alpha women in my world who understand the importance of letting go and getting back into that space. So they actively haven't practiced asking for help, which they find very difficult because they want to be strong independent, but strong independent keeps you stressed and in your head, right? So being in your head is masculine, being in your body is feminine. So when women get stuck up here, we lose connection with them. They end up overdoing everything, taking control of everything, which, for some level it makes them feel like a sense of like accomplishment and control of things, but it goes against their nature and their bodies. And again, the stress of it and on the other side is dangerous and it takes them away from us, right? It's like, when she's in her head, where's your wife? Where's the loveliness? Right? Where's the woman? It's gone. So again, we have a yin yang in our bodies. Women are amazingly capable of doing anything they want. Anything they want. We know this. You've proven it for decades. Is it good for you? Is it satisfy? Is it satisfy the quality of life? Would it be easier to be able to let go a little bit and trust your man, coworkers, other people? Let go of that control. But in order for that to happen, they have to feel safe, and this is what we need to show up to make them feel safe. So I could go on and on and on,
No,
but
no, I know you can, and for her to give up control is for her to also trust.
yeah, and
That's
and
the
it's
key.
so absolutely. But in order for her to, so I want to say this is gonna counterintuitive. Here we go. Here we go. That may trigger some people, but there's a lot of data on this. Women are happy to be led in life. They want to be led in life more so than the culture wants to admit. Women don't want to work so hard. They don't want to lead so hard. Don't want to be in control so hard. It kills them, and they know this. So women want to be led still to this day. Strong, independent women would rather have a man, lead the household, lead the way. However, a lot of us have been shamed out of leading because it's toxic and it's right. It's shameful. So she can't follow if you don't know where you're going. If you don't lead and have a sense of yourself and a strong leadership and know who you are and where you're taking us, she can't follow. And if she can't follow because you're not clear on your leadership, she can't feel safe. So she has to take it. So it's a reflex. So you want her to feel safe. You want to relax. Take it on, whatever it is. I say to men, get used to the word. You'll hear women in alpha mode say stuff like, "I got it. I'll get it done. I'll take care of it." And they go, take that shit away from them. You start saying, "I got it. I'll figure it out. I'll manage it. Let me work it out." You start saying this to an alpha woman, and you follow through, so she understands that you're not just talking. Relax, let go, right? You make them literally, you take the load off of them, and they go, and all of a sudden you get sexy, right? Because she feels safe. So it's counterintuitive, right? And the culture was there. Don't lean on women. Don't lean in on them. Don't lean in on them, right? Don't be toxic, right? Well, yeah, but no, I get it, and no, over the top. You
No,
got to
and
lean in.
I agree with you. It sounds counter, but I've done
Yep,
enough and I've tried enough and I've read enough
yep,
that
and
I agree with you. And a very small thing is that we were at the wedding. My wife is a leader by nature. She would lead when she dances.
ah,
So I told her before we even started, "You're not leading when we dance," and I led,
ah.
and she was perfectly okay with it.
And not only that, they allow her to slip in her feminine, right? This
Right,
is what I teach the dancer relationship, right? They say yin yang. We come together to create entity. You can't both try to lead. It's going to be a huge collapse, right? But again, she has to allow you to lead on some level, and so you have to know how to, and it's every aspect of life,
right,
And again, the partnership is a participation. It's pilot co-pilot. It's not two pilots, grabbing the wheel because the plane crashes if you both go for the wheel. Like it's not. you know, it's a dance. It's a complementary. It's yin yang. It's black and white. It's, you know, masculine and feminine. You come together to create a new entity called us. But you can't just both have, you don't have the same roles. It's not equality. It's not 50-50. It's two different machines coming together
So what's
for.
the question? Well, I'll take one more and that's it. I
Yeah.
don't want to take up the
Yeah.
whole time. Is so she says, in the conversation, she says, I got this. I say, no, I got it. I'll take care of it. She says, no, I'll take care of it. You just back off.
Mm.
So what do? Do you keep pushing?
Well, I would say, you know, some of the stuff they can't let go control of is because they have, this is like anthropology work. Like I call it cave woman, caveman, right? Cave woman is attached to things being done just a certain way. Ladies have a process for everything. There's a recipe with the right ingredients and with the right brand of, like, the blue can tomato soup, not the yellow can tomato soup. It's the same tomato soup, but it's something terrible is going to happen if you pick the wrong brand, right? She sends you to the store with exactly what to buy and which color brand. That's a cave woman reflex. There's a survival mechanism in that, because back in the days, right, the caveman days, the wrong berry could kill the soup. The wrong mushroom could kill everyone, right? Like, just because some are poisonous. So the awareness of what is right is still alive today. So the process for some women is, if you don't do it just the way that she wants it done, something terrible is going to happen, right? And so I'll get it, right? So I say to the ladies, yes, absolutely. I get that this is a mechanism. However, some of it you have to let go, because otherwise you can never get any help. So some of the stuff, I say to ladies, like, some of the stuff, if it's going to make you crazy for somebody else to do it, but not your way, because nobody's going to do it your way, period. The ladies, I say, please let that go. Like, let him, you want him to help? If you want him to help, let him do it his way. You can't tell him how to do it. You can't micromanage him. It's disrespectful, and he'll never do it again. Right? So if you have to have it your way, okay, those you keep. The rest of it, let it go. Let it freaking go. Right? My wife knows this really well. She's like, because women have a system for everything. How to load the dishwasher, how to, like, iron clothes, how to the cycle of laundry. Like, everything is a system. And if you don't do it right, something terrible is gonna happen. Right? My wife goes, I don't care how the dishwasher is loaded, as long as it's loaded and it's going. Like, it's done, right? Let it go. Because I've had women literally ask their husbands for help in the kitchen, because, you know, why is she doing all the kitchen, that kind of housework? So the guy steps in, like, okay, I want to be the good guy, loads the dishwasher, fires it up, and finds out a minute later that she's in the kitchen reloading the dishwasher because they did it wrong. True story. And the guy's like, really? So that's stupid. So I can't even load dishwasher according to your rules. Like, I'm never doing that again, right? You lose us when you try to correct us. You lose us in having it done your way, ladies. Let it go. Unless it's something that will absolutely make you crazy. Fine. So keep those. The rest of it, let it go. Nothing's going to happen. But again, instinctually, there's it's the wrong color butter. It's the wrong color butter. Well, it's salted butter. No, it's all wrong. It's salted butter. It's the wrong brand. It's salted butter. Okay. So nothing is ruined. Okay, it's okay. Okay, beautiful. All right. Well, thank you, babe, for getting the butter. Right? How's that? It's a different way, right? So it's an interesting thing, because it's so instinctual, automatic. Ladies, just catch yourself over attached to process. Everything. You attach to everything that is processed in front of you. You know, you watch somebody just write something on the wall. She's doing this wrong. Like, you can't help it. I get it. Catch yourself, stop it, and let people help. Ooh, that was a little rant. I'm done. Next customer, please.
Oh, wow. A lot of interesting conversation going on. And thank you, Hugh, for your question. We're just going to move along with the next person. And who wants to go next?
That was John.
John, right? John,
My man.
the floor is yours.
Andre, without telling my life story, I've spent the last 45 years in 3 relationships with 3 good women, one at a time. And so in those last 45 years, I've done very little dating. now that I'm out of the house more, I'm trying to make eye contact. I'm trying to find situations out in public where
Mm,
perhaps I could walk up to someone and strike up a conversation.
mm.
The difficulty I'm having is not that I'm terrified to do it, it's that almost all the women I encounter, their head is down, they're
Yep.
looking at their phone, or they have like blinders on,
Mhm.
walking straight ahead. They don't look left, they don't look right. Uh, they don't seem like they want to connect with anybody in public space. So my question is, I am trying to find situations, activities where I can find women that would like to meet somebody.
Mhm.
I signed up for a couple of adult improv classes, you know,
Interesting.
to do that. I'm joining a gym in a couple of weeks. Where can I find women that would like to meet men? And how can I find situations where the women are more approachable instead of always eyes down on the phone?
Yep. Yeah. That's a big problem. That's a big part of what I do with my ladies because they spend their lives on the computer, on their phones, and women looking for love on apps. So they think the world is out there, but the world is actually right in front of you, all around you, right? So everybody's on their phone looking for love when there's 10 guys around you at the car wash. Like, really? Like that's what's happening. So we're so savvy, computer savvy and phones sucked in that, everybody's looking for love on their phone. Like at the car wash, at the store, right? At the gym. Like put the phone down. Right, because I'm going to say this: women have this high fantasy a lot, right? That some foreign, exotic stranger will come across their profile and go, oh, right, and reach out to her, and he's from Barcelona, Spain, and he just had a feeling about her, and he's going to reach out, and and she'll be able to tell her friends a year later that she moved to Spain and got married, and is like no. No, no, no. This is like fantasy stuff, right? Get a book and a novel and go dream that way, but that's not life. That's not how men do life, right? So, first of all, men don't really shop online because I'm going to say this, ladies, men don't shop online. Boys do, and boys are trying to play with you. Guys are like too shy to approach you. That won't work. Men, real men, don't shop online. Real men shop in their environment live, like you're saying, John, right? So the idea of like men don't even they say this to me, but I don't even want to date some. I don't go online because I don't even want to meet somebody that's the potential who lives an hour and a half away from me. I don't want that. I don't want to have to drive an hour and a half on the weekend to go meet her, come back an hour and a half later. I don't want that's too far. So forget Barcelona and Spain and France and all the ladies. Stop. This is not how men do it. Men shop local just like the grocery store. They don't go 6 hours away to shop. They go local. Same with ladies. So who's around you? Starbucks, car wash in California, very popular, right? You give your car up to the car wash guy and you sit there literally with 30 other people for 45 minutes. Nothing to do but look around. Of course, everybody's on their phones. Put the phone down. Because men, ladies, by the way, men are always looking, right? So your job, John, is to get where there has to be a place where nothing is needed to be done, right? So if they manage to put their phones down, right, and you catch their eyes, this is really how you do it in live public. Now, very simple. If you do start, I don't do Starbucks, but if you're a Starbucks coffee guy, right, there's always a freaking line. There's a girl in front of you, and there's a girl behind you, right? You can make eye contact. If she does, you can say good morning, right? Initiation. We get chemistry being face to face in person, not over a computer or a screen or a phone, right? So chemistry is live, it's in person. So look for the ladies who are paying attention. For the ladies, I say put down your app, put down your phone, and look where in public when men are always looking. So look for who's looking and then catch their eyes and give them a smile, right? Unless you creeped out, right? But otherwise, just invite them with a smile. And men typically will go, hey, is this your coffee shop? I've never seen you here before, blah, blah, blah. And this is how the dance starts. It's very, very simple, but you have to pay attention. So, yes, everybody's on their phone looking for love, where love is often all around them. So, ladies, get off your phones and know that men are shopping local. your grocery store, your coffee shop, the car wash. The gym is interesting because the gym, men are too focused at the gym because they're working out. And so also women can be very focused at the gym. So it's not a good place to meet at the gym unless there's like a juice bar or whatever, and and the entrance of the gym. So you can meet them on the way into the gym or on the way out of the gym when the work is done, right? The people that are waiting or chilling or whatever. Oh, now they're available, right? When there's nothing to do. So find places where there's nothing much to do. Wait for your car to the car wash is my favorite, or standing in line somewhere. You know what I mean? And just eye contact. Eye contact. If she smiles, you say hi. And then
Thank you.
that's a conversation opener. Make sense?
Yes,
So
thank you.
you're welcome. Ladies, get off
All
your
right.
phones. Get off your phones. Men are all around you. Like I get this all the time. Where are the men? I'm like, all around you. Not on your app. They're all around you. Pay attention. Look up. Because also, ladies, this like if you do this in public, right? This whole not paying attention, the signal you send in 3 seconds is you're not available, you're not interested, or you're taken. We get it in 3 seconds. Okay, next. You shoot yourself in the foot, you don't know because you're on your app looking for love. Really? Just saying. All right. Soapbox, I'm done.
Yes, thank you so much, John, for your question. And next is Hope, please.
Hope in the house.
Hi, hey there. How are you, friend?
Very good.
It's a follow-up to that question. I liked how he said he was doing improv. I'm assuming he likes comedy, and I wonder. Okay, well, it's a two-part question. I'll try to ask it like a man.
I get to the point. Love it.
You live I live in a rural area by choice. I've lived, in other places. I don't think I live in a town of 600 people. So I'm thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, I should go to a bigger city, which I frequent anyway, because there are more people and because there are more of the types of places I want to meet it, where I would like to meet a prospective mate. So here we have a feed store, a Mexican restaurant, and a grocery store and a gas station. That's probably not going to work, right? So for the people in the middle of nowhere, or if you live in a place that you don't think these aren't my people, you go somewhere else. Is that correct?
I would say so. Yeah. And again, you're not your people, there's everywhere, the communities everywhere, communities of anything and everything, right? There's church communities. It's a great place because typical people have some sense of, if you're part of a church, chances are the men are a standard that fits your lifestyle, right? Like, come on. So communities, look for communities within your community of people that come together, like-minded people. And you could find your tribe even in a small town. There's people who kind of like-minded. So whatever interests you have. One a great way to meet people is going on hikes. There's public hikes. I mean, here anyway in California, but I'm sure it's everywhere where people get together, like a meetup online, where there's a meetup and we get together on Tuesday morning or Sunday morning and Saturday morning at this location, and we're hiking, and a bunch of people, hiking groups. I'm telling you, hiking is the best way to meet people without tension, without having to make conversation. You're side by side, talking about, and I'm part of a networking group where we do this hiking on Sundays. Bunch of strangers, all business people. That's one way to do it, right? This is for purpose, sake of business, but this is how you meet all kinds of interesting people. Something in interest, like a hiking interest. Okay, but the gym is one way. Again, it's specific to the front, but find communities in the communities of people that you connect with on some level. So
with John saying the improv thing, that's smart, because unless he hates improv or something, right?
Yeah.
So just go where you think you might have a common interest.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's just tiny. There are no places where people congregate. There literally are very few. But if there was a group here, I would look within my group. I'm not 100% ready. You probably know that, but I understand it.
You're showing up. You're showing up, lighting it up. Love it.
Okay. So if you have an interest, if you think to yourself, I would like to meet someone that loves comedy, go to comedy clubs, go to improv classes. If you like art, go to the art museum, take classes. I mean, these are no brainers for everybody else, maybe, but I just
Yep.
want to double check on all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we don't have car washes and things, but
Sorry.
and we don't have hikes. I'm in the Ozarks, but everything is owned. It's all like cows live there, and you're not allowed to go there. They'll shoot you. So I'm just checking.
Let's not do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Again, find your tribe, find your community, find like-minded people. If you like sewing, join sewing groups. Now, men won't be there, but there's a book club that I know people have met at, book reading clubs. They get together. So Meetup is a great way to, if you're going to go online to find out what's happening around you. Meetups are fantastic. There's a million different ways people get together. Million different ways, and it's not, and it used to meet up to meet people, like singles meet up. Now again, you have to sift through all that, but like John, that's one way to do it, like a meetup, local meetup for to meet people, literally, because women, those will be posted online, so they'll find them, right? So you have to put yourself in a community where this is what they're there for, to meet people. You know what I mean? But any networking event, oh my goodness, any networking event, people are standing right there. Do you know what I mean? And then you go in for sake of business. Now, what's interesting is, again, if it's a little bit tough to meet on a personal level when you go to like business events, because everybody's in business mode, right? You get the handshake with a hard hand and a business card, and even if it's alpha woman, this is what I do. I'm a blah blah blah, right? But there's always a break. There's always the before the event, right? When people aren't on, right? There's always lunchtime when people are not on, right? Then when everybody relaxes and stops being on. Oh, there's a person. Oh, so where you from? Right? Oh yeah, well, to travel far? Have you ever done this group before? And let chemistry show up. But it's difficult with people to on. So again, find ways where people are not on, performing, leaning in, right? Like showing off, networking. And even in those events, there's in-betweens everywhere. You could be at work, right? Which is difficult to be anything but on. But there's a break room, there's lunch place, there's everybody going across the street at lunch. Oh, different energy. Yeah, different energy. And also you got personal. I'm just saying. So it's not that hard, right? But you have to understand everything around you is an opportunity to meet, to greet, to talk, to connect, to find out, because again, interesting. And, chemistry is the first thing that you have to have for somebody to go, oh, you know what I mean? And chemistry only happens face to face, 30 inches away from each other. It's pheromones exchange. You have to be close to person for your body to pick up their pheromones to go, oh. It doesn't happen online. It doesn't happen over the phone.
I have another question to follow up, please.
Yeah.
My go-to is to take a friend places, oh, I want to go try this class. Take a
Awesome.
friend. But would that turn off guys like 2 for the price of 1? I can hardly handle 1, that kind of thing.
Well, the mistake actually, because women, in the need to feel safe, will actually go, in 2s or 3s or 4s, right? Just in the name of safety, like, you don't want to go somewhere strange by yourself. It's a little weird. So you take your girlfriend, you take whatever. And that's fantastic, right? So be safe, because if you feel safe, you'll be able to be present as opposed to trying to protect yourself. Do you know what I mean? So sure, except what women do and make the terrible mistake of facing each other. Sitting together, facing each other, right? There's a wall there. There's not an opening. Men will not approach women sitting together. Right? Like that would be weird. It's intimidating and it's not inviting. So I say, ladies, you could be together at some event, but break up or like pivot out. Pivot out. Do you know what I mean? She could sit down at the table and then you stand up like 20 feet away, 10 feet away, 3 feet away, but don't build the wall of it's me and her together. Don't approach, because that's what men will pick up in, again, 3 seconds. Right? If you're not open and you like too busy talking, bonding with your girlfriend, no one's approaching. Break it. The idea is to open up and go, and again, pay attention to who's looking, and somebody's looking back. You crack him a smile. Again, unless you creeped out, it's very simple. You have a gut feeling, this. Like you can pick up creepy from 30 feet away. All right. So as long as you don't get a vibe, smile. And if the guy's masculine, it's going to come over and go, hey, never seen you here before. Blah, blah, blah. Right? And again, if you're not comfortable, right, ladies, and I think that's part of the reason why you tend to resist that, because what if you invite in a creep or a loser or a player or a married guy and all? Stop. Stop. Right? Let the man come. Let's see if he's got a good conversation. Let's see how you feel. And if you feel uncomfortable, right, you just excuse yourselves. Like the idea of being trapped because you attracted the wrong whatever, and forget, it's like, again, there's no big deal. Just excuse yourself. Excuse me, 1 minute, and just get the hell out of there. Go to the bathroom, come back and send somewhere else. You'll get it. Like this, you don't have to take it. You don't have to feel like, forget feeling stuck, right? You just excuse me 1 second, and get the hell out of there. Go sit with your girlfriend, break the connection with this guy that's uncomfortable. You got it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that complicated, but like, women get overly like, what if, 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 so you end up doing nothing. Okay, that doesn't work either, right? Just be present, and you're really never really obligated to anything, and it's very easy to smile and break up, like break the conversation, go to the bathroom, come back, go sit with your girlfriend, go stand to some guy. If he does, go stand to a tall guy anywhere. Just stand to some, and he's going to start talking to you, pushing the other one away. Interesting. Anyway, I could do on and on and on.
And I
Does that
just
help?
want to add another way of meeting people. It's like my personal hobby is I'm dancing tango, and any type of dance like bachata, you name it, right? This is a perfect opportunity to start the conversation, meet new people, and you feel relaxed, very relaxed. Like you're
Yep.
not in your head, in your body, you're listening to music. And I just love this environment, me personally, but I'm not sure if it resonates with any one of you, but I just wanted to bring it out here.
It's a fact. I mean, I said, you go salsa, very popular. Salsa is easy to learn. There's like in most places where they play salsa music will have an hour class, an hour and a half class before the evening starts. It's a great way to meet. And now you have to know, some guys use the dance to play. I get it. Like, some players know this very well. Like, I'm a good dancer. I get all the women. Right, oh, ole. Right? I'm just saying, there's that type of guy. But as a rule, and especially in the Latin world of salsa and tango, there's a really there's a respect aspect. It's not. It doesn't tend to be, hey girl, how's it going? Hey, 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 right? Like, it's exact opposite. We were salsa dancing with my wife, and this is my wife. I'm dancing with my wife. We sit down, take a break. But men in salsa clubs know how to dance, and very respectfully, a man could come up to me. That's happened a lot. Comes up to me, looks at me like, "Can I? Like, can I ask permission to dance with my wife?" And I look at her. I says, "Do you want to go?" And she's like, "Okay." Hand, puts her hand out. He picks her up, takes her on a little dance, brings her back, sits her down, and shakes my hand. Thank you. Very respectful. It's not gamey. It's not sleazy, right? Like I said, there's always a couple of guys who are that type, but as a rule, the atmosphere is very respectful. Great way to meet a bunch of people, and it's fun. When you're having fun, ladies, you're not thinking. When you're thinking, you're feminine. When you're feminine, you're a magnet. Simple. Next customer. This is good stuff. Thank you, Anna. That was good.
Yes,
That was a good one.
beautiful. And I'm not sure if Nancy has any question. We would love to hear.
Well, I'm currently not in the dating world.
She's my wife.
However, well, I take notes and take all this in because conversation in general is awkward, and I'm thinking about the business events and like it's all applicable, But what came to mind is one time I was in line at a store and I got side saddled by a guy. And he told me his life story, and I'm like, "What the hell do I do with this?" And then he saw my ring, and then that changed everything. And then he kind of made me feel like I had started the conversation. It was really awkward.
That's not a man, but that's not a
He
man.
was
bun,
not
right?
a man. He was a boy. Yeah. And I would have really liked to have just, like a one-liner that's not rude, but just stop the whole thing, So, I guess, okay. So my question, I think the thing about when you get, even if it's a business event, the wrong man for us women, the wrong man coming up to you, like, what do you do? Because we do tend to go with being polite and you're stuck. So it's just really helpful.
Yeah. Like I said, you could always remove yourself. Excuse me 1 second. Right? That means absolutely nothing except I'm not doing this.
Right.
I'm gonna whatever. You don't have to explain anything. Just excuse me 1 second and get the hell out of there. He's gonna go, wow, okay. By the way, I want to say this. Ladies, this is why it's important to get off your phone and look up, right? Because gentlemen will not approach you otherwise. So what she experienced is they're players, they're dorks, and they're drunks who will, what I call, side saddle you. They don't have to have you invite them to talk to you. They will side saddle you. Hey, girl, you work out? Hey, I didn't see you here, right? Like drunks, players don't give a crap. They're playing you, right? They're not nervous. They don't have a problem. They're players. This is what they do. They don't care. They play. They play you. They play women. They play everyone. So drunks, players, and dorks, guys who are completely clueless. One of my friends is one of those, and he starts saying, hey, girl. So he starts with a joke. I'm like, can you just shut up? What is wrong with you? It's like when the girl looks at you like, what the hell? Right? Because he just side saddles and start talking like stupid. So, man, these guys will side saddle you. A gentleman, which is what you want, ladies, will not side saddle you. A gentleman needs a signal. A signal is a smile. That's why you get off your phone and look up and look who's looking up, because the ones that are looking are the men. The boys are on their phone. The dorks are on their phones. Men are looking up. So get off your phone, look up and see who's looking up and smile. That's what a gentleman needs to approach, period. Otherwise, they won't. And the experience like this, a dork. I mean, you could say, if you don't mind, it's not rude. If you don't mind, what? I'm just standing in line. If you don't mind. Oh, it's awkward enough to kill it, right? But it's not rude. Just a thought.
Thank you. Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Yeah. Oh, John.
Andre, I have chosen, at least for the time being, not to do online dating. I don't think it's right
Good
for
for you.
me,
Good for
and I
you.
don't think it works well for men. But I have a question related to this.
Yep.
My impression from studying online dating and what the women say and what the men say is that online dating has given women a abundance mentality. There's
Yes.
always 300 guys blowing up my phone.
Yep.
I don't really need to put in much effort in public situations. How can a man achieve a similar abundance mentality so that each encounter with a stranger isn't like so important? Like, oh, I have to make a connection. I have to be charming. So the women have achieved this, I think, pretty easily in the last 10 years
Yeah.
with online dating. What can men do to achieve their own sense?
Yeah. So first of all, ladies, it's a false sense of, I call it a false sense of swag or really your value to have 30 guys, winking at you or, sending you a message, right? It's just like exactly what you said, John. This a feeling of this plenitude. There's plenty, there's choice, right? However, nobody really loops anything up. There's no dates. There's no getting together. There's no, right? It's very rare because online the men are men, so they just, a lot of them just talk to you for a while and they disappear for 2 weeks and then you get a hey, right? So women hate it, honestly, but there's a feeling of there's so many options, right? And of course also the exotic stranger possibility, right? So it keeps them looped up. Most of them understand it. Accommodate. Women say to me, I hate dating online. I hate online. I hate the apps. I hate the apps. I'm like, great, get off. But where do I meet men? There we go again, right? So for you as a man, right, the women who will understand this or who they don't want to do online, they're just, like I said, I have women all over. I have a young one in New York City. New York City, men everywhere, like literally everywhere, on the street, on the subways, the restaurant, the stores, like it's New York City, right? Get off the phone. Get off the phone. So now she got off her apps and she's looking around, and it's all of a sudden it's a different life. I mean, now for us though, when a woman like this finally gets it that the apps don't really work and they're frustrated and they have no quality and they're stepping into looking around the real world, your job as a man, right? Because you don't because we wait for the woman that makes us tingle, and then we get all like, oh shit, 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 what, right? And then you put your foot in it, you're awkward, it's weird. She thinks you're weird. You know, you get out, you walk away going, what the hell was that? Like, you know. So the idea is like anything else, you want to practice. So, right, look who's paying attention. Like I said, in line anywhere, you could turn around, you get a smile, or you get a look. The moment you get say hello, like forget the attachment of, and stop going for the ladies that you think are good for you necessarily, right? I always say, like, I do this with my ladies. If you're gonna practice asking for help, right? Don't ask for help from a guy that, you know, is exactly what you want, right? You'll have like, oh, it'll freak you out. Ask for help from an older gentleman or a younger gentleman or a teenager, right? Or like ask for help in small ways to start practicing. You know this, you know, we have to practice things to be good at. So you're afraid of crashing and burning, go for the women that you don't care about crashing and burning with, right? But you get to lean in and be a gentleman and start a conversation, casual stuff. You know what I mean? And start with the women that you're not so ho ho ho, so you can actually practice. And when the one who's going to give you a little tension, make you nervous because she kind of fits into, you know, your taste, with a little practice, do you know what I mean? You can still be nervous, be able to do it, as opposed to really mess it up. So yeah, step in. Right? This is what we do as men. You have to step in and, you know, crash and burn sometimes. So what? That's how we learn, right? Same thing if you go to the gym. First, you know, if you're not a gym person, when you first join the gym, you feel like a dork. You feel awkward. You feel like everybody's looking at you thinking, he doesn't know what he's doing. No one cares. That's not it, right? Really. So we do it to ourselves, is what I'm saying. So desensitize that what if, and what if if she rejects you, or she says, thank you, I'm married, or I have a boy, you still win, right? Because if you don't do it, you still have nothing. So you already have nothing, go freaking do it, you know. And most women are polite, and you know, they'll say stuff like, well, thank you, I'm good. Yeah, yes, I'm good. I have a boyfriend. I'm good, but nice to meet you, right? So yeah, just don't overthink it. Step into it. Practice.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Good stuff. Hope, is that you waving, or because the hand's still up? So,
Oh, I'm not sure if anybody has any more questions at this moment. Just let me know.
and we
If
also have
I-
questions online, right?
Yeah, I have a couple questions that's been messaged to me, so
Mhm.
I can cover those. So let's start with one of them. Again, with online dating, there is a question that a lady says that a lot of guys want to keep it casual by saying, like, from the beginning, they're not sure about their relationship goals, and what would make a man to be committed to one woman?
Well, like I said, this is a whole set. There's a whole like chain of events that make that happen, right? And men really can't explain why they picked the woman. They know why they picked the woman, but the process of committing to a one and only is very specific for men. That's what I teach in my course. Like there's a very specific A, B, C that men go through naturally without necessarily thinking. It's you're a yes or you're a no, every moment to moment. Period. Right? Men are very binary. There's no gray area very much. It's a yes or no. It's an in, it's a out. It's a yes. It's a, that's interesting. That's not interesting. I want this. I don't want this. Men are binary. So most women not knowing what men are looking for, right? Women don't know what men are looking for. And men can describe it. They just respond to your presence, to your femininity or lack thereof. You have to be, from the get-go, a yes on his radar. But if you don't know what that is, ladies, this is where you can't get anywhere, because you think you value what you value, but that's not what men value. You're interested in the things you're interested in, but you don't know really what men are interested in, right? So like not understanding this will have you shoot yourself in the foot. It makes men ambivalent, and they kind of ho hum, ho hum. A lot of women make the mistake. A lot of women make the mistake of showing up with their capabilities and their boss babe stuff, right? That's not what men are attracted to. You know, you could be a boss babe. That's fine. That's interesting to some level, but this is not what men are looking for. Not the real man. The boys, yeah, that's a different story. But so, um, understanding what the stages of attraction and connection men go through is the only way to get to the result of a commitment. And like I said, it's something I can describe here in a few minutes, but it's not knowing how that works for the ladies that really messes you up, because everything the culture says for you to be, to show up, to will actually keep men away from you. Everything that the culture tells you to value, right? What am I? I'm going to say this is going to sound a little bit weird, and just something for you, ladies, to pay attention to, right? The the he's got to meet me up here. Like I'm strong and independent. He's got to meet me up here. That's ridiculous, and that's exactly what keeps you single, because understand that you don't pick men. Men have to pick you. Period. Let me say it again. You don't pick men. You think you pick men. You attract men, yes, but in the end, the man has to pick you. Men are the ones saying, "Marry me, be my girlfriend." He has to pick you. Right. So the idea that he has to meet me up here and with your standards that are not necessarily realistic, you know what you want, but is that the type of man who wants you? Oh, right. And getting DM'd and swiped or winked at gives you the idea that you have options, but a lot of women find out really quickly that there's nobody's doing anything, right? So women always control access to sex. Right? Throughout history, that's women control access to sex. Nobody's having sex unless she says yes, right? Men control access to relationship. So if you don't know what men are looking for in a strong, healthy, loving, and how to build a relationship with a man, you can't say he's going to meet me up here. You can't say he's got to have this, this, this. You can't say da. Because if you go into that route, you end up having or wanting the same man that every woman wants. Right. So 80% of men are literally out of your league. 20% of men that you want, with this idea that you deserve that kind of guy, is not realistic. Most women take a long time to realize this. That's not how it works. So forget meet me up here. I understand that you've made something yourself and you're powerful and blah, blah, blah. But if you want a traditional man, which is what most men still are, men who want to be married are traditional, men who want to build with a woman are traditional, well, then you have to be a traditional woman. So boss babe is not traditional, right? Online dating, having multiple relationships is not traditional, right? Like, there's a bunch of ways that women aren't traditional any longer and don't understand how that pushes men away. So you want a traditional dynamic, a man to provide, protect, cherish, and give to you. Those are traditional men who will provide, protect, give, and cherish you. They expect you to be a traditional woman. And we're not talking like June Cleaver, 1950s. There's a modern way that we come together. There's a modern way, but it's still a yin yang, a masculine and feminine dance. It's called nature. So if you show up masculine men step off. So you can be masculine at work. You can't be masculine in the dating world. If you want a man to be traditional, he's looking for traditional values: warm, feminine, lovely, sweet, supportive, right? Respectful, cooperative, agreeable. When you're a boss babe, you're not cooperative, you're not agreeable, right? You lean in, you're disrespectful, not knowing, right? That's not the energy that men want. Not knowing this is what most women shoot themselves in the foot with. Poof. All right. Soapbox. It's important to say. And it's not sexy. I get it. Whoosh. Okay, so
Yeah, definitely. And I think Hope wanted to ask something, right?
Yes, are there any qualities that are masculine in a woman that could be personality traits? And what I'm asking specifically is I make a lot of jokes at home, and I've worked with you in the master program, and just to let everyone know, my life was great. I have a great life, but there was a lot going on inside that was not matching up inside with the exterior. I did the master program. I would start crying if I tell you how you're like an angel from God, a big, strong,
Oh.
rock and roll angel from God. Anyway, so you're glad I said that, right? I'm not trying to embarrass you.
No, thank you. It just moves me. I mean,
Amazing. I love it now. I feel good all the time. I mean, almost all the time. And I'm realizing who I am. I'm also realizing I used to do stand up. I am really goofy and silly, and I make jokes that are crazy all the time, and I'm starting to show that. And I've always been told, and when you go to a comedy club, it's always like boys all the time. I mean, guys all the time, men.
Yeah.
Mostly, of course, there are women. But are certain characteristics or personality quirks besides the ones you said? Like if I'm boss babe, I get that.
Yeah.
Be off-putting to men because I want to be like June Cleaver and a princess, and I want to be like that. I mean, I want that, but I'm also kind of crazy and I'm myself.
But that's what's beautiful about you and each one of us, right? This, what is you? What makes you you? Because now the statistic on this beautiful question, by the way, that what attracts everyone to everyone else, men, women, 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 relationship dynamics at work, all that stuff, what attracts people the most is when you're completely authentic. It's when you are being you. This is me. I'm crazy. I'm fun. I like stand up. I tell the worst jokes, right? But there's no right or the best jokes, whatever. My point is like just when you show up truly you, right? It's so resonate energetically. People love people who you don't have to question who they are, right? Like you see people, everybody's walking around wearing masks and trying to show up in a way that you want people to receive or see you. We all do it to a degree, but the people who just don't try to be anything but themselves, right? It just they're magnetic. They're magnetic. Everybody wants to be around that. They say the energy of that is the most attracting factor, period. Authenticity. Like by 400%. It's crazy the difference. So what makes you you? And unapologetically, funny, quirky, right? Because by the way, it's those things there's those things about us that are funny and quirky that could be a little bit weird, but they're also the most endearing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it could be the most endearing. These are the qualities that, oh my goodness, she's gonna start. Oh, good Lord. All right, here we go. Like she's gonna tell some. Do you know what I mean? So we're not trying to hide those things. We just be those things. And so if you get yourself nicely centered and can just say, this is me. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to try. I don't have to take it on, right? I don't have to try to project something. Like, by the way, this is also why, how many of you experienced this? Like, people who you're not attracted to are attracted to you. Anybody experience this? Yeah, absolutely. Because when you're not attracted to somebody, you complete yourself with them. And they get to see their truly authentic you. And that's the most endearing thing ever for everyone, right? You're not vibing them, you're not trying. When you go on a date with somebody that you have chemistry with, you get all weird. And that authenticity is out the window, right? Again, this is why we practice dating, right? So how do you get to be comfortable dating with somebody that you have attraction for and not put your foot in it? I also say this is why you date the same person 3 times, because the first time everybody's awkward, and if somebody doesn't have the gift the gab, it's awkward, right? Or you put your foot in it, or you're a dork, and the first date, everybody's weird. Typically, it's just okay, ease up. And for most women, it takes 3 days for you to actually kind of feel the person out as far as do you have chemistry with the person. So don't scrap the guy on a first date because he wasn't funny enough or he was a dork, right? The dork often turns into, well, he's kind of quirky. I didn't realize that, right? The second, third date, he's kind of quirky and he's funny as hell. He's got his dry sense. Give it a chance, right? Don't scrap people when it's such a instant gratification society, right? It takes time for quality to show up. Ease up. John.
I don't have a question. I just had a comment I wanted to direct towards Hope. Hope, in my network, I know a lot of really good men, and I can tell you that your sense of humor, that's part of you, that's very, very attractive.
Hell yeah.
Your sense of humor is you shining through, and myself and other men that I know, and these are good guys, they would find that really attractive. So never hesitate to let that side of you come out in a date or an interaction, because I think it will help you find the guy that really appreciates what you have to offer. But that's
Amen.
all I had to say.
Amen. No, because again, it's authentic. It's you. You know what I mean? And everybody's so fucking serious, right? Everybody's so fucking serious out there, and you sit down on a date like this. Go ahead. Right, go ahead and press me, or like, wait, I hate dating. The energy is like, just if you hate dating, the guy's gonna pick that up. He's gonna think there's something wrong with you. You can't tell what it is, but like, right? But if you get to, if you're happy, joyful, quirky, funny, you know what I mean? Like personable and like alive. This is what lifts our spirit. That's what we're looking for. So, like to take jokes, please take jokes. Like you know, women forget to be bubbly, forget to be joyful, forget to be kind of, what's the word, like quirky, like this. These are the things that it makes you interesting, not the. Let me find out who you are. Hold on. Let's wait for him to say the wrong thing. I know he's a creep somewhere in there. Like, let the past. You have to let go of your bad experiences and really understand that life is serious. Everybody's working hard, right? Getting on a date is about having a little bit of fun and having a little bit of joy. A little bit like lift my spirit a little bit. Like, be you. Do you know what I mean? Don't try so hard. And funny, quirky, hell yeah, right? That's a woman I want to see again. Do you see what I'm saying? Thank you, John. But he's completely right, Hope. Be you. Boy, good stuff. How we doing time? How we doing
Yeah.
time-wise? 9/11. We good.
We're good. Maybe one more question and we can close unless somebody else has any comments or questions. So let's bring this one up. And that's actually a woman who's been married for like 9 years and they have a child together. Her husband is a family guy, good father, but recently they started feeling distance between both of them. And life happens. Of course, she understands you can't possibly be together due to different obligations, but this disconnection is just growing between them. And she sees that he's not intentionally creating quality time just between two of them. And also at the same time, if she wants to go and meet her friends without him or do something for herself, he makes her feel guilty for doing that because he's staying home and she's doing something on her own. And she doesn't know what could be done between them to spark this light again and to feel the connection.
Interesting. There could be multiple reasons for that, right? Like everybody's got their insecurities, everybody's got their quirks, everybody's a thing, the lifestyle, and we also grow, like we grow exponentially constantly. And when people grow apart, often is because they stop doing the stuff to keep them connected. You know what I mean? We take each other for granted a little bit, and we stop dating, and we stop really doing the stuff that we used to do when we were together, dating and spending quality time together, right? We take life as it comes and the responsibilities and stuff. So often we slip apart because we don't maintain the relationship. We don't maintain like the conversation. If you are married and you don't take your wife out at least once a week to be able to together for 90 minutes or so, an hour and a half, you guys, it's not a big deal, an hour and a half. Now, it doesn't have to be, dinner at the Ritz-Carlton. We're talking about like just sitting on the chair, having a hot dog, or at the dog park, just being together, checking in. How's it going? How's your week? What's going on? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. Like, just if you don't do this, you start pulling apart. It becomes you kind of slowly create space between you two. And then if she has interests and you have different interests, right, all of a sudden these start to pull at you. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have your interests, but it's a matter of coming back together. It's this and this. This is life. Dun, boom, dun. And if you get to do this, right, women will start feeling that you don't care and or taking Philip for granted. Right? If she's insecure because the connection is becoming fuzzy, when you try to go with your girlfriend, he goes, hey, right? Like, because he's also feeling the disconnect. And if he's insecure about, right? So on both sides, it could be triggering all kinds of stuff. You have to loop together minimum once a week. Minimum once a week. You have to come together. Me and Nancy, me and my wife, Sunday afternoon is when we get together for an hour and a half or so. We call it cheat meal. We typically go dancing first. So I have a private teacher. So we met dancing. Like, that's how we met. This is how we connect. So we have a private class on Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. for about an hour and a half. This is how we connect physically, right? And then we go eat. That's our date day, Sundays. It's ritualistic. My daughter, who's an adult now, sometimes I'm like, you hungry? You want to come with us? She goes, no, you guys, I don't want to be the third wheel. It's you guys' time. Then it gets like, everybody knows. This is our time, right? And it's how we go click and we connect with how's the week, what's happening, and we check in and that. And it's now, it's casual, yet it's purposeful. So again, the lack of and when we start taking each other for granted, like this is, and understand as human being, every 10 years we cycle into a different version of ourselves. What you thought was amazing at 20, at 30, you're like, interesting. At 40, you're like, that was ridiculous. At 50, you go, what the hell were we thinking? Do you know what I mean? Every decade has a growth within us as humans. And again, the coming together is essential so we don't grow apart. Interesting, right? And sometimes you will feel yourself coming undone. And some people, that's interesting. So what most people do is they'll have 10 to 15 years of relationship. They go meet somebody, it's all fantastic, it's beautiful, blah, 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 right? And they forget to keep looping up and they take things personally. They don't know how to communicate. They don't have solve their problems. She starts thinking he doesn't care. He's feeling disrespected. Here we go, right? And now when we start believing that the person will never give you what you want, now we have distance. Now, often this is where people either have an affair to break the thing. It's never the affair that breaks the thing. It's really everything getting to the affair that breaks the thing. And now we have a choice, right? Either most people will do this for 10, 15 years, break it, start with somebody else, do it again, 10, 15 years, break it. And then, so nowadays people have 3 long-term relationships typically. What I'm suggesting, get this, is as this is kind of normal, if you don't know how to negotiate, how to problem solve, how to reconnect, right? Tick, tick, tick. People will do this, and when they get to feeling that it's not necessarily worth it anymore and thinking about breaking up and divorcing, if you both still want to be there, right? Because sometimes people get finished, like sometimes people are finished because they're finished, right? But if you still understand you build a life 15 years together or 10 years together, you have kids or whatever, and you realize you're further apart, you've grown apart, and you think maybe it's time to move on. But if you really want to fix it, both sides, if you both want to fix it, you throw me in the pudding, you throw me in the mix, and we learn all the lessons here. We learn the tools to not let this happen again. I call it change the rules of engagement, right? Of all the things that was not communicated, right? Clean everything up and start dating again. Now with the tools, with the be able to fix it, with the be able to literally kind of keep the connection going. So, but it's still, life will still happen, right? So what I'm suggesting is instead of having 3 different long-term relationships with 2 different people, you could do this 3 times in your lifetime with the same person. As we grow together, we have to reframe and come back together, but both have to be willing to do this. It's fantastically satisfying. And that's a full life. Drop the mic.
Wow. Yes, a lot to take in, but yeah, so whatever has been said here today. I feel like it's beneficial for a lot of people to listen to. And I'm going to ask one more time if anybody has any last question or comment before we close.
And I also have a gift for you listeners, because everybody here knows me, which is but it's still an offer for anybody and everybody. So if anybody listening is curious about stepping in a little bit, so I have an awareness around. I do a lot of podcasting. That's how you and I met, right? And the idea for podcasting is my God mission, my big life mission, is to get this to the masses. There is hope. It is doable. You can find your mate. You can't have everything you want, understanding again the machine of it, how to date, how to connect, how to problem solve as you go. Right? It's a conflict resolution that people bond. So you have to learn how to do conflict resolution appropriately, respectfully, so you don't break yourselves apart. But there's all these tools. So people that listen to podcasts typically, or things like this, they're looking for information. There's two types of people I notice when I do podcasting, that there's people who are looking for information, and then other people who are looking for action. I want to say, like they want to do something. So I have a gift for you listeners, that if you're a person who's like, you kind of groove with what I said, and you're curious, and you want more information, I have this book that I wrote. It's called The Five Feminine Qualities High Value Men Find Absolutely Irresistible. This is my work with men and what they say they want. Ladies, hello, right? It's a booklet, and it's got Q&As inside. So it's a 30 pages about. It's a workbook. I sell it online. If anybody is looking for information listening here today, if you go to my direct email, andrecoaching, the number 1 @gmail.com, Andre Coaching, number 1 @gmail, and in the subject box, you say Irresistible Book, I will send it to you for free as a PDF. So anybody looking for information, ladies, coming from men, Andre Coaching 1, Irresistible Book. For the people who want to step in, who want more action, right? A little bit more brave, maybe. Andre Coaching 1, and in the subject matter, just put in Talk Now. And what I'll do is send you a link to my calendar, where I'm going to set up a Zoom conversation like this, right? Everybody's here has done one of those, where we get to like talk about what's your challenge, where you're stuck, what's not working for you, and what's the dream. What's the dream? So it's an hour call. It's on me. It takes a little bit of bravery, but ultimately, like, my favorite part of this call is we find out most people come at me with what's wrong with me. Most people come at me with what's wrong with me. Like, I can't, and it's always, they never, they always, they never, they always. If you ever say they always and ever about anybody, it's you. It's you. So just what it is. So it's not the world, it's how you see the world. It's what you believe, it's your attachment styles, right? It's the stuff that you learn as a child. So my favorite thing in that call is, like, within 10-15 minutes, we actually go right back to the source, and we find out exactly where the wheels came off for you. 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. It's always the same. We're all the same that way. Nobody gets out of childhood unscathed. But when you understand why you're having a hard time in your relationship because of the belief that you create as a child, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you, right? It just needs to be fixed. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be cleaned up, right? So just that call alone, even if you don't work together, because, if the dream is a relationship and marriage, kids, you know what I mean? We'll talk about how I can help you do this, but the call alone, just to find out there's nothing wrong with you, you're just the product of your circumstances, is liberating. So I encourage anybody. And some people do both. They do the book and they do the call. Beautiful. Bring it. Do both. Because, like I said, my life's purpose is to spread this wide and far, and to literally change the landscape of the belief that don't work. What's out there is not working the way it's being pushed out. There's another way to do this that works. So there's hope. You just know you have to learn how to do it. That's all. All right. That's all I have to say about this, Hannah.
Thank you so much, and all your offerings. And for those who would like to connect to you, we will be also show notes for this episode, special episode that will release next week. And thank you, everybody,
Thank you,
for
guys.
joining us, for asking your questions. And I hope you got some clarity. And if if we can make it maybe next time the same type of Q&A, maybe we can do that, and I'll share with you the links later on. We'll see how we're gonna get that going. But in any case, thank you so much, and hope everybody enjoys their day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, hit the subscribe button and share it with others. Stay tuned.